The thunder cracked like a gunshot outside my window, jolting me awake in the sticky heat of that endless summer night. But it was the shadow in my doorway that truly stopped my heart. Jordan stood there, shirtless and soaked from the downpour, his chest rising and falling as if he'd run from something far worse than the storm, something buried deep inside him, the kind that could unravel a life in seconds. I froze, my breath catching, because in that electric flash of lightning, I saw not just my brother's best friend, but the man who'd been invading my thoughts for years, the one secret I never dared whisper aloud. It was the summer after high school graduation in our sleepy Ohio suburb, where cornfields stretched like forgotten promises under endless blue skies, and everyone knew your business before you did. My name is Blake, 18 and adrift. The quiet kid with the sketchbook full of half-drawn faces that looked a little too much like his. Alex, my older brother by 3 years, was the golden boy captain of the football team, off to college on a scholarship, leaving behind a trail of easy laughs and simpler choices. Me, I was the shadow, the one who fixed the family's old pickup in the garage while dreaming of cities where boys like me didn't have to hide. And Jordan was the spark that could set it all ablaze. He'd crashed at our place more times than I could count, ever since he and Alex bonded over late-night video games and dreams of escaping this nowhere town. Jordan was 20, with that effortless charm that made teachers smile and girls blush. But I knew better. There was a restlessness in him, a flicker in his blue eyes when the room went quiet, like he was carrying a weight no one else could see. That night, Alex was out cold in the next room after a bonfire party that had raged too long, the air thick with the scent of bonfire smoke and cheap beer. I'd slipped away early, claiming a headache. But really, it was the ache in my chest watching Jordan laugh with everyone but me. The storm had rolled in fierce, the kind that floods basements and knocks out power for hours. Jordan had texted Alex about a blowout on the highway, tire shredded. No spare. Classic bad luck. Alex, half asleep, had mumbled an invitation before passing out. So here he was, dripping on the hallway carpet, towel slung low around his hips from a quick shower in our guest bath. "Blake," he said, voice low and rough, like gravel under tires. "Didn't mean to wake you. Mind if I crash on your couch?" Alex is out of commission. I sat up, heart hammering, pulling the sheet higher like it could shield me from the way his skin glistened under the hallway light. "Yeah, sure. It's fine." My voice cracked, betraying me, and I hated how small I sounded. He stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind him with a finality that made the room shrink. The air conditioner hummed faintly, fighting the humidity, but it did nothing for the heat building between us. He dropped onto the edge of my bed instead of the couch, towel slipping just enough to reveal the V of his hips, and I swallowed hard, forcing my eyes to the window where rain lashed the glass. "Rough night," he muttered, running a hand through his wet blonde hair. "Feels like everything's unraveling." There was an edge to his words, something raw, and before I could respond, he turned to me, those eyes locking on mine with an intensity that pinned me in place. "You ever feel like that, Blake? Like you're pretending to be someone you're not, just to keep the peace?" The question hung there, heavy as the storm clouds outside. I nodded, throat tight. Because yeah, every damn day. Pretending I didn't steal glances at him during family barbecues. Pretending the knot in my stomach was just nerves about college applications. Pretending I wasn't gay in a town where fag was still a casual slur tossed around the locker room. All the time. I whispered, and it felt like cracking open a door I'd bolted shut years ago. Jordan leaned closer, the mattress dipping under his weight, and the scent of his soap clean, like pine and rain, filled my lungs. "Alex doesn't see it," he said softly, almost to himself. "He thinks life's straightforward. Girl, job, house. But me. He trailed off, his hand brushing mine accidentally, or was it? Sending a jolt up my arm. Lightning flashed again, illuminating the sharp lines of his face. The faint scar above his eyebrow from a skateboarding wipeout last summer. In that moment, the world narrowed to just us. The rain a distant roar, and I swear I could hear my own pulse thundering. Then he did a thing that would haunt me for months. He didn't pull away. Instead, his fingers curled around mine. Tentative at first, then firm. Like he'd been waiting for permission he never thought he'd get. Blake. He breathed, voice barely above the storm. I've seen the way you look at me. And fuck, I've been looking back. His confession hit like the thunder, shaking loose everything I'd buried. Before I could process it, he closed the gap, his lips crashing into mine with a desperation that tasted of salt and secrets. His free hand cupping the back of my neck as if afraid I'd vanish. It was messy, urgent teeth clashing, breaths mingling in gasps. The towel forgotten as he pulled me closer. My hands found his shoulders, slick and warm, tracing the muscles I'd only dared imagine under his jerseys. The kiss deepened, tongues tentative then bold. And for the first time, I felt seen, wanted, alive in a way that terrified me. We broke apart only when the power flickered, plunging us into darkness. But even then, his forehead rested against mine, our breaths sinking in the black. Sorry, he murmured, but there was no regret in it, just a quiet ache. I shouldn't have. Don't. I cut him off, my voice steadier now, emboldened by the shadows. Don't stop. And he didn't. The night blurred into touches and whispers, clothes shedding like old skins, our bodies exploring in the glow of my phone screen when it buzzed with ignored notifications. It wasn't gentle or practiced. It was raw. Two boys fumbling toward truth in a world that wouldn't understand. When we finally collapsed, tangled in sheets that smelled of us, the storm had eased to a drizzle, but the one inside me raged on. Morning came too soon, sunlight slicing through the blinds like judgment. Jordan stirred first, slipping from my bed with a ghost of a smile, pulling on his clothes from the night before. Last night, he started, zipping his hoodie, eyes avoiding mine. Was everything. I finished, sitting up, the sheet pooling around my waist. But doubt crept in, cold as the floor under my feet. What now? Alex would wake any minute, oblivious, and Jordan would go back to being the straight-laced best friend, the one with a girlfriend in the city he mentioned in passing. He knelt by the bed, thumb brushing my cheek. It changes nothing and everything. Blake, I'm in the middle of it. But we gotta be smart. Smart. The words soured in my mouth, tasting like compromise. He kissed me once more, soft and lingering, then slipped out, leaving me with the echo of his warmth and the dread of what came next. Alex stumbled in an hour later, hungover and grinning. Jordan crash okay. Dude's a lightweight with storms. I forced a laugh, nodding, my skin still humming from forbidden touches. But as the day dragged on, lazy breakfasts, pick-up basketball in the driveway, every glance Jordan stole my way felt like a live wire. He was careful, laughing at Alex's jokes, slapping his back like brothers. But under the table at lunch, his foot nudged mine, a silent promise that twisted my gut with hope and fear. That afternoon, while Alex napped off his headache, Jordan cornered me in the garage, the air thick with oil and summer dust. We need to talk, he said, voice low, backing me against the workbench. His hands gripped my hips, possessive, and I melted into it, kissing him hard until we heard the creak of floorboards above. We broke apart, breathless, and he pressed a scrap of paper into my palm, a phone number scrawled in his messy handwriting. Text me tonight. We'll figure this out. But figuring it out wasn't simple in Milford, Ohio, where the biggest scandal was Mrs. Hargrove's divorce. And coming out meant whispers that followed you like smoke. I spent the evening sketching in my room, charcoal smudging my fingers as I captured Jordan's profile from memory, the curve of his lip, the intensity in his gaze. My phone buzzed at dusk. Miss you already. Can't stop thinking about your hands on me. Heat flooded me, and I replied before I could overthink. Same. When can I see you again? His response was a photo of him in his truck, sunset painting the cab gold, with the caption, soon. Promise. It was enough to keep me up, replaying the night in loops that left me aching and alive. Days blurred into a secret rhythm. Jordan found excuses to drop by, helping Alex with his beat-up Camaro, lingering after with stolen moments in the basement or behind the shed. Each kiss was a risk, each touch a rebellion. But it fueled me, made the mundane bearable. I started opening up, telling him about the sketches I'd hidden, the crushes on boys in middle school that I'd buried under layers of denial. He listened, really listened, sharing his own fragments, the confusion in high school, the one-night stand with a guy at a party that he'd chalked up to experimenting, until me. You're not an experiment, Blake, he said one evening, our fingers laced under the stars in the backyard. Alex snoring inside after a game night. You're the real thing. The one that scares me shitless because I want it all. His words wrapped around me like a lifeline. But fear gnawed at the edges. What if Alex found out? Our brotherly bond was already frayed, the weirdo artist. Him, the all-American hero. And Jordan's family. His dad was the fire chief. All bluster and beer. The type who'd disown a son for less. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. At the county fair, lights strung like stars. Air sweet with fried dough and cotton candy. Alex had dragged us along, arm around his latest fling, oblivious to the tension crackling between Jordan and me. We played it cool, winning stuffed animals at ring toss, laughing at the rigged games. But under the Ferris wheel, as it creaked to the top, Jordan's hand found my thigh in the shadowed gondola. I love you, he whispered, the words slipping out like a confession, and my world tilted sharper than the ride. I love you too, I echoed, heart soaring. But as we descended, reality crashed down. There, at the base, was Tyler, Alex's teammate from the team. Eyes narrowed, having seen too much through the chain link. What the hell? Man, he muttered to Jordan as we stepped off, loud enough to draw stares. Jordan shoved him, face flushing. Mind your own, Ty. But the damage was done. Whispers rippled like the midway breeze, reaching Alex by midnight. He confronted us in the parking lot, keys jingling in his fist, face twisted in betrayal. Blake, with Jordan. What the fuck is this? His voice boomed, drawing a small crowd. And I shrank. The boy who'd always been invisible now exposed under floodlights. It's not, Jordan started, stepping between us. But Alex cut him off. You're my best friend. And himmy little brother. This is messed up. Hurt laced his anger. Not just shock, but a deeper wound. Like we'd stolen something sacred. I found my voice. Trembling, but true. It's real. Alex. We've been hiding because we knew you'd freak. But it's love. Real love. He stormed off, tires screeching on gravel, leaving Jordan and me in the dust. That night, alone in my room, the dreams started, not sweet replays, but nightmares of rejection, of Jordan walking away, of a life forever fractured. I texted him, he hates me. His reply came swift, give him time. I'm not going anywhere. But time was a cruel thief. Alex avoided me for days. Our house a minefield of silence. Jordan bridged the gap, showing up with coffee for Alex, pleading in hushed tones. It's not about you, man. It's us finding our way. Finally, over a tense dinner, Mom and Dad out at a church social, Alex broke. I don't get it, he admitted, fork scraping his plate. But you're still my brother. And Jordan, if he makes you happy, who am I to say shit? Relief flooded me, tentative but real. And in the quiet that followed, I saw the human in him, the boy who'd lost his parents young, clinging to normalcy like a shield. We hugged awkwardly, the first crack in the wall. And later, Jordan pulled me aside. See, family bends, doesn't break. Summer waned, leaves turning gold, and our love deepened in stolen weekends, road trips to Cleveland, where we held hands in dive bars without fear. Nights tangled in cheap motels where dreams were soft and shared. But the haunting lingered, a shadow of what could have been lost, reminding me how fragile joy is. As fall crisped the air, Jordan got accepted to the same state school as Alex. A twist of fate that felt like grace. We'll make it work, he promised, packing his truck. Our goodbye kiss fierce under the harvest moon. You, me, the world. No more hiding. And in my dreams now, it's not terror that wakes me, but the warmth of his laugh. The promise of tomorrows where love wins. Quiet and profound. In the heart of America. The first frost dusted the windshield as I drove to campus that September. The old family sedan groaning under the weight of boxes and unspoken anxieties. Jordan had arrived a week earlier, settling into the dorms with Alex. Their bromance apparently patched with the duct tape of denial and beer pong tournaments. I'd begged off the early move-in, claiming orientation conflicts. But truth be told, I needed space to breathe, to let the summer's revelations settle without the pressure of their eyes on me. Columbus buzzed with possibility, Buckeye flags snapping in the wind. Co-eds spilling from coffee shops with backpacks slung low. The air alive with chants of OHIO. It was a far cry from Milford's stagnant fields. And for the first time, I felt the pull of reinvention. My dorm was a shoebox in South Campus, shared with a lanky econ major named Ravi who blasted indie rock and left protein bar wrappers everywhere. You look like you just escaped a cult, he joked on move-in day, helping lug my art supplies up 3 flights. Something like that, I replied, forcing a grin. But inside, the knot twisted tighter. Text from Jordan lit my phone like fireflies. Miss your face. Alex is killing me with his snoring. Followed by a shirtless selfie from the gym. Caption: fuel for your dreams. God. He knew how to unravel me. Classes started in a whirlwind intro to fine arts, where my professor, a wiry woman with tattoos snaking up her arms, praised my charcoal studies as visceral truths. Psych 101. Dissecting identity like it was a frog on a lab table. I threw myself into it. Sketching strangers in the union. Their faces a mosaic of secrets I no longer feared voicing. But evenings were the ache. Wandering the oval alone. Leaves crunching underfoot. Wondering if Jordan's silences meant regret. He showed up Friday night. Unannounced. Leaning against my doorframe with that crooked smile. A six-pack dangling from one hand. Surprise, he said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of autumn chill and his cologne. Ravi, mercifully out at a party, had left us the room, and we wasted no time, clothes hitting the floor in a frenzy. Bodies reconnecting with the hunger of separation. His hands mapped me like territory reclaimed. Lips tracing whispers of "I love you" against my skin. And in the afterglow, curled against his chest, I confessed the dreams that still clawed at me. They're not all bad, I murmured, fingers tracing the freckles across his shoulder. Some are you. Leaving. Others. They're us. But broken. He tilted my chin up, eyes serious in the lamplight. I'm here. Blake. But college. It's a lot. Alex is pushing the frat thing. And I've got scouts sniffing around for basketball. Feels like everyone's pulling. The mention of Alex stewed a reminder of the tightrope we walked. Has he said anything about us? Jordan sighed, propping on an elbow. He's cool. Mostly. Asked if we're serious the other day. Like it's a phase. I told him to back off. But it's weird. Like he's protecting you from me. I laughed. Bitter. From you. You're the best thing that's happened to me. We made plans, then study dates in the library. Weekends at his off-campus rental once he locked it down. But life had other ideas. The first glitch came at the homecoming tailgate. The stadium lot a sea of scarlet and gray. Grills smoking with burgers and bravado. Alex waved us over. Red Solo cup in hand. His Pledge Brothers hollering chants. Jordan fit right in, tossing a football with easy grace. But I hung back, nursing a soda, feeling like an intruder in my own story. Tyler was there. Of course. The fair incident, a ghost between us. He cornered Jordan by the cooler. Words slurring. Still playing both sides. Huh. Alex knows you're dicking around with his kid brother. Jordan's jaw clenched. Fist balling. But I stepped in. Voice steady. Walk away. Ty. It's none of your business. The crowd hushed. Eyes on us. And for a heartbeat, I thought fists would fly. But Alex appeared, clapping Ty on the back too hard. Chill. Man. Family stuff. His gaze flicked to me. A mix of warning and weariness. And later, as fireworks burst over the field, he pulled me aside. Blake. Just. Be careful. This world's not as open as it pretends. His words echoed in my sketches, that weak dark strokes of doubt bleeding into the page. Jordan noticed. Of course. During our first real date, Italian place off High Street. Candlelight flickering on Chianti bottles. You're pulling away, he said over tiramisu. Fork paused midair. I'm scared. I admitted. The confession sticking like honey. Of losing you to all the parties. The girls who'll throw themselves at the hot jock. Of Alex deciding I'm not worth the drama. He reached across. Hand warm on mine. Then let's make it official. Boyfriends. Labels and all. No more shadows. The word boyfriends landed soft. Revolutionary. And I kissed him right there. Uncaring of the stares. The waiter's raised brow. It was a turning point. That public claim. But turning points have edges. The edge sharpened midterms. When Jordan's phone blew up with calls from home. His dad, the fire chief, had found texts not ours. Thank God. But echoes of his past experiments. The blow-up was biblical. Shouts over speakerphone. Threats of cutting him off. The classic, you're throwing away everything for a mistake. Jordan showed up at my dorm at 2 a.m. Eyes red-rimmed. Collapsing into my arms. He called you a mistake. I fumed. Holding him as sobs shook his frame, the unbreakable Jordan. Cracking open. Not me. Us. Says it's a phase. College bullshit. But Blake. It's not. You're not. We talked till dawn. Piecing a plan, come out on our terms. Or go quiet till graduation. But quiet wasn't us anymore. I convinced him to face it head on. Scripting a call where he owned his truth. Dad. I'm bi. Happy with Blake. Deal with it or don't. But I'm done hiding. The line went dead. Then silent for days. Jordan threw himself into practice. Bruises blooming on his knuckles from punching bags. While I poured pain into canvas abstract swirls of red and black. Titled Fracture. Alex bridged the gap. Surprisingly. Knocking on my door with pizza and a six-pack. Heard about Jordan's old man. Sucks. But you're good for him. Squirt. Makes him less of an asshole. It was the closest to blessing we'd get, and it mended something in me. Holidays loomed. Thanksgiving, a minefield back home. But Jordan's resolve hardened. We're going together, he declared. Booking tickets. Show them we're real. The drive to Milford was tense. Radio humming soft rock to fill the silence. My hand in his over the console. Mom greeted us with hugs and pie. Dad with gruff nods. But the undercurrent hummed Alex's tight smiles. The way aunts asked probing questions about girlfriends. Jordan held my hand under the table. Thumb stroking circles. An anchor in the storm. It boiled over at dessert. His dad calling uninvited drama via FaceTime. Screen filling with a ruddy face demanding, "What the hell is this I hear?" Jordan stood. Voice steel. "This is me. Dad. With Blake. The guy who makes me better. You in or out?" Silence stretched. Then a grunt. "You're an idiot." "But you're my idiot. Bring him next time." It wasn't acceptance. Not fully. But it was a door cracked. Light spilling through. That night, in my childhood bed with Jordan squeezed beside me, we made love slow and reverent. Bodies whispering gratitude. Dreams shifted thenless hauntings. More horizons. Us walking hand in hand towards sunrises unshadowed. Winter thawed into spring. Campus alive with cherry blossoms and final exams. Jordan's team made playoffs. Scouts buzzing. But he turned down a pro hint. Choosing a grad program nearby for us. He said, "Ring on my finger a simple silver band. Promise etched in metal." Alex even joined a GSA meeting. Awkward but earnest. His presence a bridge we'd all crossed. Graduation dawned bright. Gowns scarlet against green lawns. Families cheering. As we tossed caps skyward, Jordan pulled me close amid the chaos. "Haunts my dreams too," he murmured. "But the good kind now. You and me. Forever." And in the years that followed our apartment in the short north, my gallery showings, his coaching gig at a rec center, we built a life from those ashes. The night he stayed. It wasn't the end, but the spark. Love, it turns out, haunts beautifully when you let it stay. Yet even as roots deepened, echoes lingered like the way Jordan's hand would tighten in crowds. A reflex from old fears. Or how I'd wake gasping from dreams of that first storm. Lightning forking into accusations. Therapy helped. A campus counselor with kind eyes and no judgment. Unpacking the baggage we'd carried from Ohio's heartland. Trauma bonds us, she said, but choice frees us. Jordan went too. Sessions where he voiced the bisexuality he'd once weaponized against himself. Emerging lighter. Laughing freer. Our first real test post-grad was the wedding Alex's. To a sweet girl named Mia from his poli-sci class. The rehearsal dinner was a blur of toasts and tension. Milford relatives eyeing us like curiosities. "So, you two still?" An uncle slurred, and Jordan's grip on my knee steadied me as I replied. Happier than ever. Alex caught my eye across the table, raising his glasses, silent, proud of you that healed old rifts. The ceremony was magic. Fairy lights strung in the old barn. Vows exchanged under a canopy of stars. As best man, Jordan nailed his speech. Humor laced with heart. Alex taught me brotherhood means showing up. No matter what. And Blake, he taught me love means the same. Tears pricked my eyes. And later, on the dance floor, swaying to some country ballad, Alex cut in. "You okay, little bro?" he asked. Clumsy two-step matching mine. "More than," I said, clapping his shoulder. "Thanks for having our backs." He grinned. Sheepish. Took me too long. But family's family. That summer, we road tripped the coast, California's Highway 1. Windows down. wind whipping our hair as waves crashed below. Jordan proposed at Big Sur, on a cliff's edge, ring glinting in sunset gold. Marry me, Blake. Make the dreams real. Kneeling there, salt air sharp, I said yes with a kiss that tasted of ocean and eternity. Wedding planning was chaos, venue hunts in Columbus. Mom fretting over floral arrangements. Dad grumbling budgets, but footing half the bill. Jordan's family came around slow. His dad showed at the engagement party. Handshake firm. Muttering proud. Son over cigars. It wasn't fanfare, but it was enough. The day arrived under June skies. Backyard of our starter home transformed with lanterns and wildflowers. Vows were usra. Funny. True. You haunted my nights. Jordan. But you lit my days. Guests included Ravi. Now a Wall Street drone, but still blasting bad playlists. Tyler. Reformed and apologetic with a beer in hand. Alex. Officiating with surprising poise. Honeymoon in the Keys was bliss, snorkeling reefs. Lazy beach reads. Nights where bodies spoke what words couldn't. Back home. Life settled, my graphic design gig at a local agency. Jordan teaching high school phys ed. Coaching the queer youth group on weekends. We adopted a mutt named Stormy. Irony not lost. And filled weekends with brunches. Hikes. The quiet domesticity I'd once feared. But haunts don't vanish clean. A year in, Jordan's dad passed heart attack. Sudden as thunder. At the funeral, small town pews packed. Eulogies droned of duty and legacy. Jordan spoke last. Voice cracking, he wasn't perfect. But he tried. Loved hard. In his way. In the receiving line. An old-timer clasped my hand. Heard about you too. Good for him. Finding peace. It was absolution. Unexpected. And we drove home silent. Then clung fierce. Making love till dawn chased shadows. Kids came later, fostering first. A scared teen named Eli. All sharp edges and hidden hurt. Who softened under Jordan's easy patience. My sketches of his dreams. Adoption papers signed. Family grew. And in Eli's eyes, I saw our story reflected love as salvage. Redemption. Years stacked like pages, Eli's graduation. Alex's twins calling us Uncle B and J. Gallery walls lined with my work. Now bold queer narratives. Jordan's hair silvered at temples. Mine tousled grayer. But kisses stayed hungry. Dreams soft invitations. One night. Anniversary eve. Storm rumbling distant. Jordan pulled me to bed early. Remember that night? He whispered. Fingers tracing my spine. Every detail. I replied. Heart full. Best haunt ever. And as rain tapped gentle, we drifted. Entwined. Into sleep's untroubled love's echo. Eternal. Kind. Looking back, that inaugural storm wasn't just weather. It was prophecy. Washing clean the illusions we'd clung to. In the quiet mornings after, as Jordan's truck rumbled away and Alex's snores filtered through walls, I'd lie staring at the ceiling cracks, mapping them like veins of possibility. Milford mornings carried coffee steam and dew-kissed lawns. But for me, they hummed with aftershock, skin tingling from phantom touches. Mind replaying confessions in loops that blurred sleep and wakefulness. School that fall was a revelation. My English lit class dove into Whitman. His, I sing the body electric, resonating like gospel. And I raised my hand for the first time. Voice steady, it's about claiming the self. Unapologetic. The prof nodded. Eyes twinkling. And afterward, a girl named Lena, short cropped hair. Rainbow pin on her bag slid into the seat beside me. Queer Lit Club meets Thursdays. You in? I was. The club was a sanctuary, worn couches in the student center. Discussions fierce on Baldwin's fire. Shared stories of coming out over bad pizza. Jordan tagged along once. fitting in with his athlete's ease, charming the room with tales of locker room whispers and his own bisexual awakening at a summer camp years back, kissing a counselor under pines. Panic following like fog. Regret? Someone asked. Nah, he said, arms slung casual over my shoulders. Let me hear. Alex's integration was rockier. He pledged the frat. All chants and keg stands. But midterms hit, and he crashed our study sessions. Textbooks spread across the kitchen table in Jordan's Rentala creaky Victorian off-campus. Walls papered in faded florals. You two are disgustingly domestic. He'd tease, but stayed late. Probing gentle. How'd you know, Blake, that it was him? I paused, pencil hovering over notes. The dream started before the night, haunting me with what I wanted but couldn't name. He nodded. Slow. Makes sense. Mia's got me twisted, too scared shitless. But right. It was vulnerability. Brother to brother. Mending threads I'd thought snapped. Winter break tested waters. Home for the holidays. Tree strung with lights in the living room. Mom's gingerbread scenting air. Jordan bunked with Alex. But nights found us sneaking to the attic. Dust motes dancing in flashlight beams. Kisses muffled against old trunks. One eve, Dad caught us descending stairs. Tousled and flushed. Silence stretched. Then he cleared throat. Coffee's on. Both of you. The talk was halting over mugs chipped from years. Dad admitting his own college flings. Wilder than you'd think. Mom teared up. Hugging fierce. Just want you happy. Boys. It wasn't fanfare. But foundation. Solidifying. Spring brought renewal. Jordan's championship game. Buzzer beater sealing victory. Me in the stands screaming till hoarse. Postgame. Locker room hugs turned public, his kiss on my cheeks splashed in the campus paper. Headlines winking dynamic duo. Backlash trickled tweets sour from alums. A coach's side-eye but support swelled. Petitions for inclusivity. Our story is spark. Eli entered our lives sophomore year. Foster placement after his mom's overdose. 14 and feral. Eyes like shattered glass. First weeks were war. Slammed doors. Truancy slips. My patience fraying as Jordan coaxed with basketball drills in the driveway. Give him time, he'd say. And I did. Sketching his anger in charcoal's jagged lines softening to curves. Breakthrough came rainy afternoon. Eli flipping through my portfolio. This you? Pointing to a self-portrait. Young me shadowed. Yeah. Before I knew better. He snorted. Looks haunted. Was. Still am. Sometimes. But love fixes cracks. He stayed silent. But next day, joined dinner without protest. Adoption hearing 6 months later, judge smiling benevolent. Papers stamped. Family, she said. And Eli's grin cracked wide. Our haunt turning home. Years layered. Eli's prom. Awkward tie-tying with Jordan. My first solo exhibit. Walls alive with our journey storm's aftermath. Sold to a collector who wept. Alex's twins. Chubby-handed. Calling us Dad B in toddler slur. Mia's laughter echoing barbecues. Jordan's coaching evolved varsity star. But Queer Alliance founder. Mentoring kids like Eli once was. Pay it forward, he'd say. And I did. Workshops for youth artists. Voices queer and bold. 10th anniversary. We revisited Big Circliffs unchanged. Waves eternal. Ring renewed. Vows whispered. You stayed that night. Haunted my soul. Best decision ever. Dreams now. Gentle tides. Pulling us deeper into grace. The value of that night crystallized in subtleties, the way Jordan's laugh lines deepened with mine. Creases earned from shared jests. How Eli's artwork. Raw and furious. mirrored my early scratches. A lineage of healing. We'd built not just a life, but a legacy. Threads weaving through pain to pattern profound. Flashbacks surfaced in quiet moments, the fair's chaos. Tyler's sneer igniting fuse. Alex's confrontation. Rain mixing with tears on asphalt. I'd revisit in journals. Ink bleeding confessions. Fear was the real storm. Love the shelter. Jordan read them once. Eyes soft. You're my wordsmith. Turning ghosts to gold. Community bloomed. We hosted potlucks for the Alliance. Tables groaning under casseroles. Stories spilling like wine teens coming out. Parents learning listen. One night, a boy named Sam, 16 and trembling, echoed my youth. What if they hate me? Jordan knelt. Eye level, they might. But you're enough. And we're here. Eli thrived scholarship to Pratt. Hugs fierce at send-off. You guys saved me, he said. And we wept, knowing it mutual. Challenges lingered, Jordan's knee injury. Sidelining games. Depression's shadow creeping. I held him through nights dark. Reminding, we haunt together. Therapy tandem. We emerged stronger. Scars badges. Alex's midlife pivot leaving corporate for nonprofit. Inspired by us brought brothers closer. Fishing trips. Beers by lake. Talks deep on regret. Redemption. You made me braver. He admitted. And I saw dad in him. Cycle broken. Grandkids arrived with Mia's second. Little Nora with Jordan's blue eyes. Demanding stories. Tell the storm one. She'd beg. And we'd spin it gentle. Princes braving thunder. Finding treasure in each other. Gallery retrospectives honored my work echoes of a night. Catalog essay praising humanity's tender underbelly. Jordan beamed front row. Hand in mine.